All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Flutter Original. And today, to be honest, I'm very excited because this is the first time I'm going to run a Mac OS or desktop Flutter application. I'm not very experienced in desktop, especially in Mac, but I have an expert on that, and I have Ruben, the author of package Mac OS UI, which probably by now you have heard about it. It's an awesome package. He's working on it to make Flutter Mac UI even better. So let me welcome him. And Ruben, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name's Ruben Turner, although you might know of me as Groovin Chip. Um, I am the author of the macOS UI package, as well as a couple of other packages on GitHub. I'm an employee of Stream, which, if you know of Nash, who was also on this show, so I work with Nash. Um, and I've been working with Flutter for about 3.5 years now. Um, I just absolutely adore Flutter. I love it so much. It's my favorite way to make software, and yeah, that's me.
So you actually started on a project that it gets a lot of attention these days, and I've heard actually some people are using your package right now in production, which is awesome. Do you want to talk
Yeah,
about your package, Mac OS UI, and what motivates you somehow to work on this package, create it, and maintain it? What is your
yeah,
plan also?
absolutely. So around the time that Flutter 2 came out, and the Flutter team announced the beta support for desktop, I had noticed that there were two packages available on Pub that dealt with desktop user interface elements. And that was Fluent UI, so Fluent underscore UI, that dealt with uh, like widgets for Windows apps. And I noticed that there was also a package called Yaru, which is by the Canonical team, which has some theming for Linux, but there wasn't anything available for Mac. Um, and both of those packages are excellent, and I've actually worked, by the way, with the author of the Fluent UI package. He helped out a bit on macOS UI, Bruno DeLuca, great guy, excellent developer. Um, and so I noticed that there was nothing available for Mac, and I sort of poked around in the community to gauge some interest and see, do people want this even? And it turned out that there was a lot of interest, and people do want it. But it wasn't being done, so I decided to step up and do it myself. And it's really been an adventure. It's been a lot of fun. Like I've learned so much about how to make a theming system, um, and I've developed an approach for developing applications that look native on the different platforms. Like we talk a lot about in Flutter. You write once, you run everywhere. But in practice, and while that's true, in practice, it's a bit more complicated because if you want to have a native look on each platform, you got to do a little extra work. You gotta make adaptive widgets. You have to deal with it's different screen sizes and looks and things and what, and it even goes beyond the layout builder approach, because you're
Absolutely.
dealing with you're dealing with the platform itself, not simply the screen size. Um, and it's been a lot of fun to work on this package. I've been able to work with to collaborate with some great developers, and I've learned so much. Um, and it's really humbling and inspiring to see the interest that this package has received. We just passed 400 stars on GitHub, which is like astonishing to me. I've like It's the first project I ever had that broke 100 stars. And yeah, I love to work on it. I love to maintain it, especially now that I know that there are some developers that are using it in production. I mean, it's so amazing to me.
All right. So, Ruben, in this show, what we do, Chip, is that I invite like author of packages like yourself, and I have a famous coffee MJ Coffee app which I used for all of my workshop tutorials and pair programmings and etc. So for the first time today, I ran this application on macOS. And that's the beauty of Flutter, right? I've never
Yeah,
run it actually on macOS. I just said Flutter run macOS and boom, it just ran. It's a
nice.
very simple application, as you can see right now.
Hmm.
So it has a couple of screens and it does a few things. One of the things is that I can click and log in. I can just go to this list of pages. I have this detail page, and I have profile and etc. and etc. What I'm thinking here today, you help me to make this UI a bit more adaptive to macOS, and I don't know how you want to help me, but go ahead and help me to make this UI adaptive with your package.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing we'll need to do is to add it to our project. And what we can do is to go to our terminal and do flutter pub add macOS UI
Yeah,
so that
sure.
we can
We can do
automatic.
that. Or we can use maybe the, pub spec, which we can add like macOS. Yeah, or also the Dart natively, the Dart plugin has already an interface that you can add to
Oh,
the pub
nice.
spec
Very
YAML
good.
file. So then here is the package. Let's do that. And now
Mhm.
I have it here.
All right. So one thing, this is going to be an interesting, because I see you're using Navigator 2.0 with GoRouter. This is going to be an interesting little experiment here to see if we can plop in the macOS UI, or sorry, the macOS app.router, because
Yeah,
yeah. So here's what I think we should do. Because we want to make things platform adaptive, we are going to make a separate main.dart file. We'll call it main underscore macOS UI or macOS.
okay.
So let me do that here. Main mac os.dart.
Here you go.
And
Okay,
yep,
there we go.
yeah.
It's coming.
And what we'll do
By the way, the
is
app is also a restart, so you can see it. Yeah.
nice, great. And what we should do is we should bring in, we'll copy all the contents of your normal main.dart. We'll and we'll have it here. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace a couple of key elements. We're going to replace the material app.router with a macOS app. And we'll have to import macOS UI. And so this is, we're showing that there's a get theme, which is an error, which makes sense because we need to have a macOS theme data here. Now
Uh-huh.
let's,
Or maybe can we just ignore it for now?
yeah, there is a default theme that comes with. And so for anyone watching, basically, again, a macOS app is the equivalent of a material app. You would use it
Okay.
in pretty much the same way. You can have, it has this router, this router constructor, just like, a material app has, and you can pass it themes
Hmm.
and you can give it the debug, turn off the debug banner and all that stuff, all the normal things that you would expect
Okay.
from
Okay.
from from material app. That's the first step to make sure that we get our proper theming. Because because macOS UI widgets require a macOS theme data in the widget tree, and unless you were to specifically just use like a macOS theme widget, just like you would have a theme widget, um, you know, it's easier to use the macOS app. Um,
Sure.
so let's now take a look at. I'm not familiar with your code base, so let's see. Um, the first
What do you
page
want?
let's see
The
we're
first page,
home, I think.
homepage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what I think we should do, this is interesting. Yeah, because we've got some material stuff happening here. Let's make, in screens, we're going to do a home uh, desktop dot dart.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on like the thought process and behind this pattern. For more on that, viewers can go watch my talk that I gave for AppWrite recently, where you also spoke, Majid, where I talked about
Yes.
getting a native look, a native multi-platform look. So what we'll do here, and then we'll copy in all the contents and we'll replace things as we need.
Yeah. Let me remove this
Oh,
unnamed routing because we don't need it anymore. We're using Go router and
so the first thing we can see here is we have this scaffold. What we should do is turn this into a macOS window, which takes a
I see.
child, and we don't need the safe area because we're on desktop.
Okay.
Yes, so remove this widget, and we'll wrap this with there's a wrap with widget, and we'll wrap it with it didn't work. Wrap with widget, and we'll call that macOS scaffold. Now, the interesting thing here is that there is no
Uh-huh.
child parameter. What we're going to need to do, let me grab this column, is we're going to Control X to get rid of that. We're going to do children.
I think it's not imported. That's the reason. Let's import it.
Oh,
Yeah, here you
okay.
go. Now you will get your routing.
Okay, very good. Just says loading when I do Control Spacebar. Whatever, I'll type it. Children. So macOS scaffold, and we'll give it children. There it is. And we're going to need to give it a content area widget. And the reason we can't just give it our column is because macOS scaffold expects children of two types, either a content area or a resizable pane.
Mhm.
And the reason being is because it will keep content scrollable when you resize it smaller. So in the content area, we should have a builder, a little bit faster. Yeah, builder. Yeah, and then we should have context and controller here. It gives us a scroll controller.
I see.
Yeah, and we'll return our column. Oops. And let's format
I see.
this. Format document. Okay, good.
Oh, that's good. All the screens, let's say, they must start with Mac OS window, right?
You don't have to use a Mac OS window. The thing is that a Mac OS window will give you a background color and a sidebar.
I see.
And
Also,
we're
yeah, you can have like a transparent background as well, right?
Yeah,
So
if you enable the transparent background in the native Mac OS code, it's kind of like it's a bit of a thing to do. It doesn't come out of the
I see.
box. It would be nice if it did. It's a bit of a headache to do. So, but this will allow you to
I
get
see.
But we're also going to add a sidebar.
Okay, that makes sense now. So okay. But then the scaffold, though, macOS scaffold is equivalent to the scaffold from Material, right?
Yeah, you'll get access to if you hover over it, you'll get access to so you
Children
have
and
children
title
and
bar.
title bar. If you scroll down a little bit in that, yeah, you'll get a title bar. So a title bar is
Yeah.
basically equivalent like to an app bar. So here in the sidebar, yeah, we're going to,
Yeah, I can now
yeah,
add
there we
builder.
go. Yeah, okay, great. Let's add that and we'll, okay. And what we can do in here is we can return sidebar items. And this will give us, yeah, we're going to have to give it a current index. So we're going to do, we're going to change that bottom navigation to side navigation. So we're going to need an int index equals 0. We're going to give that index. Might be actually better to name it sidebar index.
Sidebar index.
Yeah,
And you want to actually rename this here too. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we're going to give it an on changed.
I see.
On changed. Wow, that autocomplete takes a while. All right, I'll just give it value. And in here, we'll set state to set
I
our
see.
sidebar index to value.
I see.
Yeah,
It's just somehow working as like a button navigation, right? So,
yeah,
but on the side somehow. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like the same sort of thinking that you would have with the bottom navigation where you do the on changed and you set the index and stuff, like it's the same sort of thinking.
I see.
Yeah. And let's see, with sidebar items, we're going to give it items. And in here we can give it, it's like giving a bottom navigation bar item. We would give it a sidebar item.
Sidebar. Okay.
Sidebar item here. And we can give it, I believe it's lead. Yeah, we can give it leading and a label. Like you can give it an icon as the leading, but we'll just stick for
I
a second
see.
here
I see.
with label text. And I think the first one that you have in your bottom navigation, home and support and profile.
Yeah.
Great. Let's put this on the back burner, but something nice that we can do with the sidebar is have a bottom, and it's like it's like sticky to the bottom, and you can have like an account, like your current user, you can have the profile thing down there, and you can click on it, and then I don't know, like open a window or something for
Yeah, sure.
but we'll put that on the back burner.
But before that, Chip, it seems like sidebar is asking for minimum widths.
Yeah, let's give a minimum width of 200.
Okay, so then I'm adding to 200.
Yeah, and that's also add a starting width. I think we can add so that it doesn't crash. I think because it'll give us an error that the minimum width can't be less than the starting width or something, or the max width. I think we have to give a max width as well, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Give a max width, let's say of like 400.
I see.
400, and we'll give it a supposed to be able
So
to
this is
get
defining the
start
widths,
width.
the maximum, minimum, and also the starting point for the sidebar only from the
That's
windows
correct.
that we open, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
What we should do now is we should stop our app and we should run the main desktop.dart so that we can actually look at this stuff.
So let's hot restart.
Yeah.
Here we go. Whoa, that is actually very Mackie.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Excellent.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, I'm guessing you have dark mode turned on in your system because we have a theme mode of system set.
Cool. I can even resize this.
Yeah. So what we
That's
should
very
do.
cool. Yeah, I do have dark mode actually. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So let's set it to light, theme mode.light, and then hot restart.
Okay.
And then it'll look better with the theme of your application. Because
where did you do that? Where did you do that? In the main.dart?
In the main macOS.dart. Yeah. I changed the theme mode.
Oh, theme mode to light. Okay.
Yeah. So do a hot restart now. And
here. Wow, this is nice.
There you go.
This is very nice, actually.
Excellent.
Yeah. Cool.
But we still have that login, which is not what we should be seeing. So what we should do is, let's see here, home desktop. Why are we seeing that? Oh, that's because, we copied in the wrong stuff. Okay, so what we should do
But
is we
that's
should,
fine. That's fine. I mean, this is fine right now. Let's actually get the navigation to work. Can I just, let's say, go to menu and this screen change to something else? Or how does it work?
so what we'll have to do is we'll have multiple children in the content area of the scaffold, or
Oh,
is the children of the
okay.
scaffold, right? So we'll give it another
Yeah.
content area and we should give it the menu. Content area,
Oh, I see.
and that has a build, takes a builder with a context and a scroll controller. And let's see, the content of your normal menu page, let's see, it should be in menu list, I believe.
I see.
Let's see, menu list. Yeah, you've got an animated list, a bunch of slide in stuff. Okay, let's take the global, let's see, we'll take the global key, the items list.
I mean,
And
I have a question here. So, like, technically, menu screen is just a widget, right?
mhm,
Can I just import this, like, here, like, return
return
menu
menu screen.
screen?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
that.
we can try that. Yeah,
So
yeah,
now, then probably we should have an if statement, right? So, or do you want to recognize these children by the index?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So instead of having separate content areas, that's right. Let's do an indexed stack. And let me just to quickly do that, I'll have a content area and return an indexed stack. I forgot, and we'll give it the index of our sidebar index. I'm so
I
much
see.
I'm so much faster when like the autocomplete and stuff like works properly. Okay, so and then the
Sure, sure,
children,
sure.
and then we can give it the, now we're gonna run into some problems with the menu, even though we can import the, like we can return the menu screen as its own widget. We're gonna run into some problems because it uses widgets that rely on a material theme.
Yeah, you're right.
So we can do it, but we're just gonna, and then we'll have to make some tweaks. And then let's see,
Oh, I see.
grab, um, just to show quickly that it works. Where are we? Let me need to format document. Okay. Where is the end of this column? Here we go. So we need the indexed stack, end of the indexed stack column. There it is. And then we'll do the menu screen. So let's create, let's see, menu.
I mean, for
Screen.
those who are watching, I mean, although we are creating a desktop widget right now, like for a home screen, but that doesn't mean that we need to recreate everything, right? We can
Yeah,
reuse our
not everything.
widgets, like,
Yes, absolutely. We can reuse widgets, which again is part of the process that I outlined in that talk that I gave recently, where it's like you'll want to have certain things broken out by platform, and then you can share other code, like other widgets, excuse me, between the implementations.
you're right.
Because as we can see, that mobile version does not work well with desktop. It doesn't play
Yeah, you're
nice.
right.
Yeah. So let's find.
But this is very cool so far. I come a couple of questions here, Chip.
Yeah.
So, well, as far as I see, by just adding your package, well, it immediately gets the Mac style out of the box. I mean, I see this looks very familiar, at least to me as a Mac user, right?
Yeah.
So that so far is great. And I think then that the more we go, then the more we need to like add. For example, this button
Hmm.
looks like a material button. Probably there are some switch buttons. I don't know, some other buttons that you created, and it looks like Mac style, right?
Yeah.
Let's figure out why this scroll doesn't work, because that's quite normal to have a scroll. And as you see here, I'm getting an error. You see,
Yeah.
seems like there are some kind of
Oh, because the
problem.
scroll controller is not attached.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what we'll need to do, because we're going to define a separate screen, because that menu screen has the bottom navigation and stuff in it, and we don't want that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we can lift out some of that stuff. Um,
Okay, what we can do maybe. So this is the menu screen, which has a scaffold, and it has all of these. Okay, I'll tell you what we can do. Technically, we have a menu. We have a list somewhere here, which I will show you shortly. Tabs. So the tabs are having this list, menu list. So technically, we don't need the whole menu screen. What we need it's only this page, like this by widgets.
right.
So, and I will also pass the whole list of coffees. So now if I restart, it will not come up with the app bar and button sheet. Oh, that requires.
You should also pass, and we should. So again, if you just want to modify the current widget instead of creating a new one, you'll need to create a parameter for the scroll controller.
Yeah. So the problem actually, let me explain for those who are seeing this. The problem here is that I'm using some material design
Yes.
widgets, like list style is one of them. So, and that's the problem. So then because I don't have that in the ancestor, so I'm not able to use it. So what we can do, because what I want to show to audience is that they actually they can use like their other widgets, they can use any widgets and then pass it down to this UI. Because then as of now, it feels like they have to recreate everything, which is not correct.
Right.
It's just the scaffold that they probably need to create. The rest, it's shared widgets.
Yeah. So
Yeah, here is the list style. So
yeah.
maybe I can actually let me get rid of the list style.
Yeah, you can use a what will you could do a builder, and you could say, based on the platform that you're on,
Yeah,
return either the material list tile or a macOS list tile.
yeah, sure, sure. That's well. Let's do that. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Let's actually change this. Because then that is actually a use case. It's a useful use case. So
Hmm.
based on the platform you decide. So now I have my gesture detector. I assume the gesture detector will work on Mac and,
Oh yeah,
other
that's fine.
platforms.
Hmm.
So the child, we're gonna change it.
Yeah.
So I had a list style. I'm gonna actually copy the whole things, and then in the child, we're gonna change it to something else.
Yeah.
Should I just have a builder, or should I just here say platform,
Well,
like
what you could do,
platform?
I think, this is a good opportunity actually to make a good to you can make a number of decisions here, all of which are valid. You could just say, if platform is macOS, then return the macOS list tile, otherwise give me the material. Or if you want to be more flexible, you can create a separate widget, that
Sure.
in the build method there, which would be the same thing really as doing a builder, right? But you can do it in the build method, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
you could check for as many platforms as you want. Like if you wanted to eventually add Windows support, you could check for the platform being Windows. It would give you a little bit more flexibility there. Um,
Yeah, sure. But
yeah,
let's do that. Let's say list style builder,
yeah,
and that's going to be like an stateless maybe widget.
yeah. That's fine as a stateless widget. Yeah,
Yeah. So and then we're gonna have. I think I misspelled here.
yeah.
Stateless widget. Oh, there you go. I'm gonna have my list style builder widget. And then as you suggest, that what we can do here, so instead of returning here, so I can say if, let's say for now,
Yeah.
platform, or I think it's platform is iOS. Here we go.
Yeah, you could do platform dot is, whatever. And if it's platform dot, and you could also add platform, you can add an or statement for Android as well, if it's Android or iOS.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or I mean, what we can do, yeah, sure, we can do that too. Um, do you have like a list macOS list style
Yes.
or something?
Yes,
But what
there
we
is a
can do maybe here, maybe here, because this list style. Okay. Anyway, you have a macOS list style, right?
hmm
Is it with? Yeah. If that's the case, then I mean, if it's Android or iOS, let's just return the material one.
exactly. And then
So yeah,
else,
yeah. We need to have a bunch of things here, because then here is the name.
hmm
So I need to have this dot name,
that's right.
this dot subtitle. Actually, it's not name, it's title, subtitle,
hmm
and we're gonna have an icon.
Yeah.
A bunch of things here. So let's actually define them quickly. We're gonna
hmm
have a title, a subtitle, and icon. So here we go. What technically is, we're gonna replace this with that, replace it with subtitle,
hmm
and replace this with actually coffee icon.
hmm
So here we go. Yeah, you added the like. Okay, that's good. So and
Icon should be
the
icon
coffee
data.
icon here. Yeah, I think it's icon data. Here we go.
Yep. hmm
So now we have. It seems like we have everything.
Well, we didn't make them nullable, so we have to make them required in the constructors.
Yes, I will. I will. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make sure the names here are correct. And here you
hmm
go. And these must be required for sure.
Yeah.
Required, required, and required. And yes. So there is some kind of error in the page because of here. Because here now we can have actually list title builder or list title builder widgets, right?
Yep.
And then I can pass my icon, which was widget dot. Actually, forgot what was it. Yeah, here you go. Index name widget coffee index. Okay, widget coffee index dot coffee icon. Good. Then we're gonna have title, which is going to be which index title. Sorry, not index. Um, um, items. Items index dot title, and the next one is also like same, but for now let's keep it title.
hmm
It's not title, actually it's name. Okay, so now we're passing everything down, so this now should work by itself, right?
Well,
So we
now we
just
have
change
to
it to a
add.
builder.
Yeah, but now we have to add in the widget that we just made. We have to
Yeah,
add the macOS list tile if the platform is
sure.
if macOS.
Let's do that then. So
Yeah.
then here we say f else f sorry else
Else if.
if. Yeah, sure. So and then if platform is Mac OS.
Yeah.
Okay, let's now return what you want to do. Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's
so
your turn now.
okay, so we'll do a macOS list tile. We can give that, come on, autocomplete.
Now we need to import it. Let me just import it. Here you go. Now you're gonna have
Oh,
your
okay,
autocomplete.
great. That's why I wasn't
There are
getting it.
some fields are required automatically. I will add title, for
Yeah.
example.
So title should be the text. And this is also a good opportunity to show how the theming is important, because in the mobile implementation where we show if the platform is iOS or Android, right? We're doing theme.ofcontext.text theme. With macOS UI, we'll only get those default styles, and they won't look right. So we can do macOS theme.ofcontext and get typography, and we can get certain text styles from there.
I see. Let's do that.
Yeah. It would be title, and then style, macOS theme dot of context dot typography, and we can do.
Does it have like an auto?
Yeah, it's got autocomplete, but my autocomplete's not showing for you. So if you want to,
I just want to show it here. So we have, here headline, for example. Okay, good.
And we can tweak these styles depending on how they look. Like we can do a large title or whatever, depending on what.
Does it also have leading? Oh, it has also leading like that.
Yeah,
that's good. But technically, I can actually copy and paste the whole thing here, right?
Oh yeah. For the icon.
Trailing,
yeah.
It doesn't have trailing.
No, we don't have a trailing. Yeah. And I think often on desktop, you know how on iOS in a list, you'll often get that sort of angle bracket indicating that if you tap an item, you can navigate a page. I don't think on macOS you normally get that kind of thing in a list. So it works out.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the whole point here is that to make the UI as close as possible to Mac style, right? So
that's right.
That's correct. All right. So let's also, I added sub headline. So, okay, I added a bunch of things here, sub test, title, leading, whatever we had. And that's for platform Mac OS. I'm going to actually go ahead and restart right now.
Nice.
So let's see the moment of truth. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Then correct. We have now a different style. For sure, it's not what we want, but I mean, this is at least is loading. It doesn't show an error. So now, based on this platform, we're loading the Mac OS style, which is great. All right, let's actually go back. So it's a little bit strange for the. I mean, you can maybe answer this question because now it feels like doesn't have like padding and things like that. And by the way, gesture detector was working because when I tapped on this, it actually went to the details for.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So what I'm actually wondering right now, why the list style here compared to iOS one, I mean the previous one, material one, was a little bit different.
So it's probably it's probably the visual density.
That makes sense.
Yeah, visual density on desktop is much more compact than on mobile.
Yeah, but probably I can add here a bunch of other things. Maybe a padding, for example. I'll just to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, totally.
And then let's actually check it out. Yeah, and still my scroll seems not to work
because we don't have the scroll controller.
Oh, attached.
Do we? We need to pass in. So since we're not, so you're going to want to create a parameter for your menu list widget that accepts a scroll controller.
Yeah. Okay. For the last part of this show, I mean, so far, great. So we get styling Mac OS out of the box. We got sidebar. We worked on. I mean, there are tons, or maybe a lot of more widgets that we need to learn. I mean, the rest are just widgets and cosmetic, probably. But then I think one more thing that we want to do, and it's quite often in any application, is having this scroll. Let's get this to work as well. And then maybe you will promise me right now in the show to come back again once more, and then let's add a few more things. For example, how to deal with network, how to make requests, and how to even optimize the application to work better. Things like that.
Hmm.
So, but I
Absolutely.
think for today's session, let's get this scrolling to work because these are the basics. And then let's continue on, for the rest of the features next time in another episode.
That would be great. Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right. So you're going to want
Okay.
to create a parameter in the menu list widget that accepts a scroll controller.
Here is the menu list widget. Yeah. Okay. So like you want me to create a controller here?
Mm-hmm. Scroll controller.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And we'll do here final scroll controller.
Okay.
And then if we scroll down a little bit, in the animated list that you build, we should give it our widget.scroll controller. And then back in our home desktop.
Okay. Now we need to pass it.
Yeah. Because we get a scroll controller from the builder of the content area.
So you mean that it's already in the builder here?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, here. We do have it here. Okay, that's good. Now I notice it. Okay. So I'm using menu list. And I think what we need to do then here, we need to make this nullable.
Yes.
Because it's not required everywhere.
Right.
And then also here.
There's that R that's needed. Hold on. There we go.
Okay. Yes, now it's working. So it's already nullable, so you can pass null. That was the problem. So here's this error. But generally, I mean, Chip, it doesn't devaluate your work. This is a great package.
Thank you.
You've done a great job so far. I'm sure that you will be coming back to this show again and talking about the new features in macOS UI and new widgets, new way of working. Of course, this is also a beta or even alpha version of the package, right? It's not a stable. Bugs and things are.
Yeah, this is definitely not a stable package yet, and I would absolutely love to come back. So thank you for that invitation, and yeah, I would encourage users viewers to still check out the package anyway. File bugs if you've tried it out and come up against some sort of bug. And also to check out Shortcut Keeper in the macOS App Store, a really great app that someone has built with macOS UI that is in production, that has been in production for about a month and a half already.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous looking app, and I've tried it out. It works great. So yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
Time
That
to
is
investigate
great.
some bugs.
Yeah, sure. For those who are going to or maybe they want to contribute to your package, this is the repo. So just go ahead to repo. Probably this is the way that you also
Absolutely.
recommend. Open an issue. Chip is very warm and welcoming. He loves issues for
I
sure.
do love issues.
So, and more than he loves issues, he loves pull requests.
Oh
So just
yeah.
go ahead and send the PR. And he's a great reviewer, I know. So he can review your your PRs. So
Yeah,
make this package even better.
I love contributions. I absolutely welcome contributions.
That is perfect. What we're gonna do, Chip. This session was kind of like introduction to the Mac OS UI, which is kind of unique right now in Flutter community and Flutter ecosystem. I'm gonna invite you sometime later when you have new releases and new features, and hopefully we can go through one more time. We can go through my application and try to refactor it and make it ready
Yeah.
for
It's
Mac OS
certainly it
UI.
yeah, it's certainly a big job to take. It's not a small thing to take an existing application and try and port it to desktop and give it the full native treatment. Um, if you
Absolutely.
like, it's certainly possible to take a material app and run it on desktop and just do some stuff with Layout Builder and whatever, and then you'll get a fully functioning desktop app. What macOS UI helps is getting that native look. And so it's certainly not a small thing to do to take an existing code base and port it
Yeah.
to do that.
You actually you mentioned a very good point is that even though we are talking about Mac OS UI, it doesn't mean that Flutter cannot build your current application to Mac. You
Absolutely.
can, by all means, you can customize it in any way that you want. The only thing is that, as Chip said, Mac OS UI library is going to give the native design of Mac OS to your application. And,
That's right.
that's the reason we are going to have these builders checking the OS and stuff like that in Flutter.
Yeah. And I'll
But
just
so far, Mac, go
Mhm.
ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, I'll briefly mention that having those builders is certainly, and platform checks is certainly a valid approach. There's also something to be said for the reason where we separate out by main file and other things like that is so that you can get Flutter's tree shaking, so that you can take unused code out of your application,
Absolutely.
so that your mobile stuff doesn't show up in your desktop app, and
Yeah,
your
sure.
desktop stuff doesn't show up in your mobile stuff, so you can have smaller build sizes.
That's perfect and valid point. All right. Anything else you want to share with us?
Sure. There's a sample app on my GitHub, a counter sample app that showcases in detail how to, not in the example app there. If you go to your address bar, and instead of where it says Groove and Chip / macOS UI, you can type um, macOS UI without an underscore and then with the underscore counter. So here I'll see
Here
if
you
I can
go.
get. Yeah, you got it. Okay, great.
Yeah, I got it.
macOS UI counter. Yeah, so this is a cross-platform simple counter application that just showcases how to start getting a real-world application built. Um, and it's a deeper look into this sort of multi-platform, this native multi-platform look, that you can get when you use macOS UI in conjunction with with Material and maybe Fluent UI and other platforms like that.
That's very interesting. Good to know.
Yeah,
We'll definitely check it out. So I will
excellent,
put the link to the comments or to the show note later so you can quickly click and have a look at this example too. All
excellent.
right, Chip, this was a great session so far. That was my first time actually. I ran my application into a Mac OS desktop application. It's absolutely a pleasure to have you in the show and talk
Thank you
about
so
that.
much. Thank you for
And
having
I'll
me.
invite you for another. No problem. And I invite you for another session to go a little bit deeper to the desktop best practices and also adding networking layers, so making some HTTP calls and stuff like that. So hopefully,
Excellent.
one more time you can come back and we can go deeper.
I'd love
With
to.
that said, I think I should thank you once more for joining me today. And if there is nothing else, let's say goodbye to our audiences.
Okay, let's do that. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.